Okay, welcome to virtual In-Venue-Stigations, which is a show where I go through performance spaces in video games and talk about their execution, what it would be like to produce something there, and considerations for programming if you wanted to have events in these spaces. What would that be like for a producer and for an audience member? Each space, as we go through these things, we'll look at it for producibility, spectatorability, and aesthetics. Let's talk about this first space, which is this little stage. This is the first stage that we'll be looking at, which is a little Rotunda stage in the middle of Fort Frolic in Bioshock's Rapture. This is the, like, shopping mall, casino, strip club, performance venue. So we'll be looking at this stage here, and then we're going to go up to Fleet Hall, which is their take on, like, a Radio City Music Hall quotation, and we'll take a look at that. This stage is kind of built into this rotunda area that, there's some shops on the sides. It's all very wide open. You can walk around here. And then there's like this little stage built into the corner here. And it looks to be a temporary setup. Like, it doesn't seem like the space is curated around this as a performance space. There's nowhere for an audience to sit and watch a performance. If it's a show that you would watch while, like, milling about all of these shops back here, number one, there are like no benches back here even, so it's kind of a strange place. But the fact that there's no, like, real sightlines aside from things which are directly next to the metro stop, and this door, which is another major path of traffic you could watch from over here, it feels very, like, in the way, especially with how far into the path of travel that this staircase juts out into. So, this makes me say this is a temporary stage. This wasn't here from the get-go, especially since, the truss up here is kind of implied to be mounted into this otherwise very beautiful ceiling pattern. You could come up here, and you could watch things from up here, I suppose. Although up here, it's kind of just like this hallway. There. Oh my God! Don't talk to me. Or you could come over here and watch things. But this seems appropriate for perhaps some kind of jazz quartet or a singer or very small ensemble. There's no wing space. You couldn't, like, store scenery back here. There's a very rudimentary backdrop and single stick of truss, so you could put some more lighting fixtures up there as they have now. But this is very, like, shambled together. Let's have some background music for people that'll be shopping. Sure. So I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna take some angles of these to try and sell this as a space. Like, if I were a show promoter, I would want to say, oh yeah, we could come and rent one of our shop spaces. We have this wonderful little alcove where we can have musicians. Or you could do some kind of product demonstration to a crowd of Rapture citizens, minus the running water. It seems well suited to that purpose. I think there's also something to be said about the closeness that spectators will have to whoever's up on stage. Like you can see these people are quite in shock by how close Cohen's masterpiece, his quad tick, is up here. I think if there was a performer, like a singer, maybe right here where this guy is, you know, if you're walking through this space, you could choose to step in front of the staircase, or if you're coming down from, you know, one of the shops up here, you're going to have the experience of, as just a patron of Fort Frolic, getting about this close to whoever would be up here. And with these like makeshift improv stairs here, I would have it would encourage the experience of like, okay, I'm walking down the stairs and I'm going to walk up on stage to join this person. So I feel like you would get a lot of like hugging the side, going off to the side. It's very in the flow of traffic, this stage, in this path right here. To talk about the lighting layout for this, you've got this stick of truss right here, and then you've got this other stick of truss up here, where they've hung just this one light. And this is the, like, level design practical motivation for the reward box, I think. Because you get this long... Oh wait, no, that's the following light. But you get these two lighting positions, which is basically just downlight. It really is just downlight for this very narrow stage. So if I have, you know, a little jazz quartet, it's similar lighting conditions to here. It's very dark. It's very, like, bright neon and darkness. I would want to be able to pull out these guys with some front light. And there's no motivated, like, placed in the world front light here, so you would probably, if you wanted to do that, have to have like a balcony rail here, or around this little rotunda area. You kind of follow the track. You can't really get anything from like a high side right here. You could go off here actually, but something that you would hang or mount to the bottom of this line here. That would allow you to get like a high front here and a high front from over there. Or maybe a piece of pipe on two sticks in between these 2 points, or the same thing around the rest of the balcony. But at that point, you're starting to close off possible angles of viewing from up there. So, I don't know. Yeah. It's not, like, from the stage out, the viewing angles are also not symmetric, so we have this bit of occlusion here, where that'd be like you could look down on top, and you don't have that over here. So the sightlines of the space are really quite poor. It manages to be quite hidden if I'm a patron, and I'm hanging out with people over here. If I'm doing all of these shops, that kind of like lurks in the background, but it's also very hidden. All of the spaces in here are also hard and very flat. So there's not a lot of... I think the acoustics in this space would kind of suffer. I don't know the effect that this curved ceiling would have fully, but I think if you're back here in these shops, with how far and empty and cavernous this space is, if I have like a little like jazz quartet here without any amplification, I don't think that they would sound all that good. I think it would sound very cavernous. Let's talk about like storage and if there's staging for... we're going to have a bunch of actors come out and they do, I don't know, something from Anything Goes or something. Can they live anywhere near here? There are the bathrooms over here. That's great. The dames. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Guys, stop fighting. But the area behind the stage, where you would expect a crossover for actors to be, is just this, like, blank area. There's no storage. There's no, like, actor holding. This is immediately also in the public way, so there's shopping centers. This is, like, public traffic area. So you could maybe use... Oh, man. Oh, this just, like, curves around. I don't know. I think you would have to, like... I don't know, pipe and drape off this corner, maybe. But then you would get the weird effect of, like, if I'm doing, like, scenes or something. If I'm wanting to produce the Music Man here, that would be very difficult, because the path of travel for actors, if this is their offstage area, or if this is their offstage area, they have to cross into the public way, weave through the spectators, and then, like, worm their way up on stage. So this is, oh wait, let me see if I can...
I heard that.
Nice. So it makes any kind of dramatic happening in this space really like, ooh, we have to include the audience, which is an interesting programming challenge. How you worm your way through that. So, really only appropriate for a music ensemble, a very small quartet, perhaps. Plenty of paths of egress, though. This is just a walking mall with a little, you know, place for people to stand and do something. Like a public square. So, great. For producibility, I would say I give this space a, like, 5 out of 10. Your options are really limited. It's really cramped. You won't be able to provide really solid accommodations for your talent. They won't have their own private holding space without you setting up pipe and drape. If this is going to be a regular thing, then there's, like, permanent pipe and drape, and at that pace it may as well just be its own separate room that should be incorporated into the architecture. And you're only ever going to do, like, jazz ensembles or, like, like 2 performers or a solo performer. To talk about the patron experience, well, as I've already said, the sightlines are quite poor. There's no place to really sit and enjoy the performance. It's kind of doing, like, modern-day coffee houses, like a modern-day Starbucks, where the design of the space seems to be to drive you towards all of these shops or elsewhere, e.g., getting the fuck out. This isn't really like a communal space where people can sit and chat or take a break from their shopping. That's what the strip clubs are for here. That's not this space. People don't belong here. This is a transient... People pass through here. You walk between these doorways and maybe you stop for a second to look, but... It's not a place that's asking you to sit or stand. Well, you can't sit. It's not a place that's asking you to stand and really take in whatever's going on down there. But there are bathrooms. And there are places to get food around. So, if your friend is performing here, it won't be the worst thing in the world to come and attend them. And you get this guy. Wow. The acoustics are really, really gonna be just fighting you every step of the way, I think, in this space. The sound is just going to bounce and harshly reflect off of everywhere. There's no real crevices for sound to escape. It's going to be real cavernous. Without amplification, I think there would be some major sound issues. But, you know, maybe the right music choice, you know, a jazz quartet with maximum reverb, is something for your shopping going experience. So, producibility, like 5 out of 10. Spectatorability, like, like a 4. It's just window dressing. It's just background track. Because they didn't have Muzak in these days. Rapture does not have Muzak. But they do have music. Yeah, okay. Speaking of music, let's look at Fleet Hall. Andrew Ryan presents the Kickettes, the off-brand Rockettes at off-brand Radio City Music Hall. So let's get in. So we step into the space. It's just another porthole entry in this like hub and spoke area. So this is a whole spoke, a performance venue, something built into this giant walking wall. Here's one of your options. The first thing that you come upon is this little waiting area. So this is like smoking. There's some chairs. This is like a reception area where you could wait for people before entering into immediately where you get your ticket taken. So this is nice. And there are two little alleyways, so you'd get your ticket taken here. There may be somebody posted here to be sure people who have come through have had their tickets punched. Maybe this is where the ticket taker is, you know? I do question the Big Daddy event so close to where you would have, hopefully, high class patrons. I would not want big brutes who are very scary near my high paying patrons. And then so you get your ticket taken, yoink, and you come down here, and this is a bit of an awkward block to the flow of traffic. You have this big wide staircase after you get your ticket taken, then you immediately have to funnel into this area. I don't know how to feel about this wall right here. But anyway. So there's a little bar area where you can get drinks before heading up to your seats through this area, or I guess through this elevator. I guess this goes up to the upper level, even though it's bounded by stairs. We'll get there though. So let's talk about the bar. It's really odd that the counters don't extend all the way to the wall, or include like a tiny gap, or like many bars do have like a swinging thing. So you have all of this like dead space here. That just feels really awkward. It's like as a patron, I can come down through here, and I can just immediately walk behind the bar, or just like reach into this tap and pull out something for myself. Kind of strange. It's weird that there's not at least like 2 more counters. And the counters themselves have like sneeze guards in between these partitions. I guess if I have like, it's me and it's my date, we can have our own little thing. There are no bar stools, so like the rest of this place, it's designed to hold you for a second and then send you on your way. You shouldn't be sitting here. So this is like a serve, get served and then leave kind of thing. Yeah, and it's the same thing on this side. Yeah, a lot of awkward space here. Just looking past that though, like if I come out here, I think this is okay. I think you might get an issue with, in this area, people congregating that would block, that would just create a lot of like traffic flow, because you have, hold on, I'll do this. You have in this area, this width should really be like thought of as being reserved for patrons of the bar. You have this area as a flow of traffic for people leaving this area to go up to their seats. And you also have this major, this is and since this is mirrored, this is what the audience flow is on both sides. This is where people get their tickets taken, and they come in, and they have to pass by this crowd that's going to be here. at the bar. So you're going to get a lot of like, oh, excuse me, if people like, they come down, they come through here. It's going to be kind of cramped and maybe not the best experience for people in this area. Um, I feel like people who come in through here would feel like they're intruding upon the enjoyment of these people, but maybe for the demographic, for the kind of people that the citizens of Rapture are, maybe that makes sense for them. Maybe they're all just like true East Coast people. Fuck you. Okay. Um, let's talk about the lighting in this area as a patron experience thing. The big green light is really strange. Like you have this wonderful, like warm copper amber bar area. It would make all of your beers look lovely. It's maybe a bit too saturated. It's maybe a bit too dim. And then you have this like giant like it's unclear to me as a patron. This would be unclear if this is like a maintenance thing or if this is like how you get to your seats. Mainly because there's no signage. So I don't know. Let's call the elevator. Great. It's also really loud. So it's really loud, and I'm not seeing any like. Oh wait, no, this is a glass door, isn't it? Okay, I thought that was a door, but I think this is just open air all the way into the theater. Oh, and that bell too. That you'll be able to hear that during performances. So that's very disruptive. But here's the elevator. You take it up to the box level. So this space, I think it's okay. I think it's a little awkward. I've certainly been in worse spaces and enjoyed a drink before going elsewhere, as this space wants us to do. So you get your drink, and then you proceed through here, which is like a little hub area for the lower seating sections, it seems. And there's a little vending machine where you can buy your cigarettes. What's on this side? Oh, okay, this is just like a way to get to audience left. Okay, so you have like audience left, mid audience left, audience right. Is this far audience right? No, it's like I don't know, like a little like snack shop or something. I guess if you wanted to, if you're in the orchestra seating area, you could come out here and then get like a snack or drink in the middle of the show, as opposed to going to here, which, since it's so large, maybe this place closes down and they have like a smaller secondary bar, or this is just the overflow bar. You know, a lot of theater spaces will have like bars on every level. Let's go into the space proper through the mid-audience right. So, we'll go up. So it's a proscenium stage with a 15-foot thrust. You get straight seating in straight rows in 3 different tiers, surrounded by a bunch of boxes. There's no balcony. The first thing I would investigate is these extreme sightlines in the far audience left and right of being down and center. And I think if we take... oh, who was here? Fitzpatrick, the piano player who blew up off screen. I think if we start from over here, this will illustrate a really big problem in this space. If I'm the audience member in this chair, my neck directly out, I'm looking. Oh my god, I'm looking at the proscenium, at the right proscenium, but I have to crane my neck like a full. Oh my god, like 55, 60 degrees to one side to look at the performer, which. And like the stool is like basically, we'll call it center. We'll check it later, but like an undue amount. A way that this is solved in venue design is to have an arc which follows the stage. If you have like a fan seating layout, anything that's not straight rows, makes sense. Another way that you could solve this is to eliminate these two columns of seating on either side, so you reduce the width of the seating area in comparison to the stage. It's all about ratios, right? Given how close the stage is to the front row, it's all about just like reducing the angle that you get here, this angle. But if I'm here, I don't have to crane my head to the side as much. This is like, it still kind of sucks, but it's manageable. It's better than like, I don't know, if you had like chairs all the way over here, you'd have to like just fully sit like sideways to be able to enjoy the performance. So there are 3 rows in this first tier here, which means, and they're also like straight on. So if I'm sitting here, which is like this angle is fine, but I also have like somebody directly in front of me, somebody directly in front of me at the same elevation. So the sightlines are pretty terrible for these 2 rows. Front row is okay. That's a good seat. And that same problem is going to persist for this section. This should also be 3 rows. Then you have this row, which is just by itself. It's a little far from the stage. All of the rows and these sections are really, really on the, like, if we call this the y-axis of the theater, like up and down, really spread out. Yeah. But I suppose that this is okay. Again, the far corner is like, this is kind of manageable as a sight line. It's really far away though, for being so low to the ground. And these alleyways, these paths of egress, are super wide. Like, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 people wide. When really you just need like, you could do like 3 feet on either side and infill with seats. Maybe have a single center aisle that's like 6 feet. You know, it's just, this is like prime real estate. Like right here, this is the perfect place to watch the show from. Something I just noticed. Tile flooring. That is an insane choice for a performance venue because all of the sound, and this is a concert hall too, all of the sound is going to be reflecting off the floor. The ceiling, it looks to be, could be some kind of like felt or textured plaster. The walls are like hard. The walls are metal. Whoa. Okay, yeah, acoustics in this space would not be very good. And specifically, the floor is tile, so if people are getting up in the middle of the performance, if they have to leave, if they show up early, if they have to use the bathroom, if they're coming back from their bathroom, you're going to have ladies in high heels. It's going to be really, really loud, really disruptive to the performance. Although I think that's carpet, but that's a... Look at the way that bullet hole renders. It's so bright. And there's a rectangle around it. Or square. Wow. It's really not the best venue so far. The sightlines, especially if it's general admission, you know, total crapshoot. The acoustics, not going to be that good. The experience of a performance, really disruptible. Like it's not a hermetically sealed box. To add on top, you have all of the open air that goes back. Oh, we'll talk about this in a sec. All of the open air that goes back to like the elevators and all of the sliding doors that are going to contribute to background noise during a concerto. My God, what are they thinking? There's also a second like little snack shop right here. So you have this really loud cash register that's going to be active during the show. Maybe this is just like concert nights or something. For their sanity, let's assume that this is non-operational during the show, but like intermission, yeah, sure, okay, great. We don't have to leave the theater. We can just like go to the like little side box thing. I'm gonna go up to the box level. I'll talk about sightlines and audience experience from the box level, and then we'll talk about like the producibility of this space, like these lighting positions, how appropriate it seems to be, that stuff. That stuff. So you come up here, and there are these cross hallways for the boxes. This is a very public space for other box goers. There are some little benches. There's a first aid station. This seems appropriate taking a break points. Oh, honey, we need to talk. Let's go into the hallway during the performance kind of spaces. If you have parties which span multiple boxes, they can congregate in here before making their own way. But let's look at a box. Oh. Metal flooring. What a weird, and the chairs are so back from the rail too. Like, if I'm sitting here, and you know, like this is my field of view. It's like mostly rail, mostly floor, mostly ceiling. Normally, I would want to be like here, but the sightline itself is pretty okay. The stage is high up enough off the ground. I kind of don't love how high this comes up. That obstructs this line of the stage lip right here. But the angle is pretty good. The metal flooring is just batshit crazy. What are they thinking? The height of this mid-rail is, I will say, the height and depth of it, it's appropriate. People will be setting drinks on here. People will be putting their feet up. If they could move the chairs closer, I'm sure they would. Although I don't know, maybe it's the kind of thing where people like, you know, stand and watch the performance, and they take a break and they sit and they you know, they chatter about it back here. I don't know. Different strokes for different kinds of folks. Let's look at one of the straight-on boxes after we clear it out. Same thing, metal flooring here. That's so strange. Why? The curve I could see because it, like, I don't know, protects the plaster or something, but... I buy it from a game design perspective because without this, you just get, like, the ridge between the lower molding here and then the floor, and that kind of looks unfinished. They were just looking for some window dressing, maybe, and I bet that they have this asset built for use elsewhere, and they just repurposed it to add some healthy noise here. So it could be worse. To talk about this box, I think it's appropriate. I think there were I shot off like 2 chairs, so 2, 3, 4, 5 chairs. This doesn't seem like it fits 5 chairs wide, so I question the seating layout up here, unless they're all in the corner, and then you do stand. The sideline is okay. I'm seeing now that there are these 2 catwalks, which just destroy the aesthetics of the proscenium. Let's see if there's a good place in this space where you can really get a sense of the proscenium as a frame that isn't interrupted by this catwalk. And the answer is only once you get past the front row. So if I'm here, I get a sense of the whole frame. But if I'm even in the second row, then that's frame, you know, it starts to get disrupted. Anything else back is just like... Yeah, I see the one guy, I see some of this shape, and then it's all cut off by the lighting position, which is dead hung. So it's permanently fixed there. It can't, like, move up or down. Such a beautiful proscenium. Ruined. Ruined by this. The boxes, I think, are really okay. Except for the material choice and how far the seats are back. Which, all in all, you know, you could make it work if you had the box. You could just move the seats up and bam, there's your evening. So, it's okay. It definitely lacks the fine, pristine touch that a high-class establishment like this would hope to sell people on, especially since performance venues such as this, they rely on subscription sales to be financially viable. You would have a hard time convincing people to regularly come back here without the fine touches of material choice, and a proper seating layout. It's just kind of ugly. It lacks that fine touch. You have the shape, but you don't have the filling, the form, what makes it, the sumptuousness of performance spaces and why people love to be there. The idea of elegance, of opulence. You don't really get that here. And a lot of that has to do with the floor. It's tile. It's metal. The walls are metal. It's crazy. Oh, wow. So sorry. But let's talk about the stage itself. So it's a 15-foot proscenium. I think, yeah, you can go behind here and see it goes quite deep. I'm just gonna assume that everything back here is like competent. I'm not gonna be like, oh, the developers didn't put in. You're not supposed to be back here. And also, this isn't about like how well the developers did or didn't represent a space. It's about taking what we have in front of us as a concept for if we were to use this data, these images, this 3D space to build a real space. What would that, what would it play like? What would it sound like? So let's talk about the lighting. There's no overhead position that's permanently installed, like a catwalk above the stage. There's nothing like that. So you don't have any downlight out here. You get a good low angle for some front light for like your proscenium row. I think that this is maybe a bit too close for front light for this lip, but that's what the second catwalk's for. But there's no downlight over here. So that's really going to present a lot of design issues for your lighting designer. You'd probably have to like, I don't know, get like a really long span of truss and have ground plates here and there, or else just like aftermarket rig something up there. I did not shoot those. Those just fell. I did not shoot those. Talk about side light for the lip of the stage, and there's no like box boom position, so you might have to hang an underpipe along there. You might have to do like two pipes like there and there. It's really quite wide, so one singular pipe won't cut it for the amount of space that you need to cover. This seems like two little rows of lighting pools would suffice. There's the second one. Can we get a sense of like what this height was supposed to be? This was also supposed to be like really low. Like this light right here, is basically at the intended height. And that's, if I'm an audience member, I can like jump up and touch that. It's really kind of troubling. And very disruptive, especially if they were to hang any kind of moving lights. Those would come down to about like the man's chest. And just, it's so cluttered up. The proscenium is beautiful, but it's barely visible from 90% of the space. So the aesthetics, ruined! And you have like a little projection booth. Although the angle, if we go up here, the angle of... Oh, there's somebody up here. Oh, hello. There he is. It's our boy. He's okay. The angle on this projector goes right through the catwalk as hung. So... Oh, excuse me. So, I don't know... This just doesn't work. That tells me that these catwalks were installed aftermarket after, like, I don't know. Film didn't pan out for these people, but it's just strange. Strange choices. This would not work as a projection theater. This is event only without losing these catwalks. And that's a shame. Actually, it's not a shame because of these sight lines. I don't want to have to watch a movie while craning my neck up like this. Like if you ever go to like the front row in a movie, they're like the whole time. Ugh, not a fun time. I did that for the I didn't see the other Twilight movies, but I did see the very last one, Breaking Dawn Part 2, as a joke with friends. When I was like, I think I was like 13 when it came out or something. Saw it as a joke with some friends, and I was just craning my neck the whole time. What do you mean it's all a dream? I don't know. So, me too, girl. Paths of egress. We didn't do egress. So, to be, fire safe from any point in a space, and this is a general rule. I don't know what's in the International Building Code, but generally, for any kind of space, you would want at least 2 paths of egress from any point that would be at least like 5 feet wide. That's like a general rule of thumb. For like performance venues, they have their own egress requirements that people's jobs are to look at that. But I will say that there's a good, like very healthy width here in this seating bank. This seating bank is quite cramped. I don't think that this corner right here would suffice. I think you would have to like widen this clearance right here. I think that the width of the major alleyway, which I think is the only real path of egress for... Oh yeah, this goes to the elevator. Okay, so everybody has to drain out this main artery. That's a bit of a problem, because if you have, like, I don't know, something falls here and catches on fire here, this center path is so critical. If it gets blocked, that causes an issue for fire safety. It's wide enough that I think this is like okay. And then it splinters off into 2 mirrored paths, so 4 paths overall. Well, 3, because that one over there is a bar. And then it comes here, so then you regroup this path, and this merges, and you merge all 4 paths into this one doorway. That seems like a fire hazard, because you have this width to incorporate. Sometimes a nice way of thinking about it is thinking about, like, these are pipes, and this is the width of a pipe, so you have this much water, or this much people, like, flowing, so everybody's coming here at once, and everybody is going to get log-jammed in this exact doorway. You're gonna have crush, because you have that width, you have this width, all merging into this single width. But once you get past here, it opens back up. And then you get crush again. So, I don't know. I guess if you're underwater and there's a fire, then you're like kind of fucked regardless, right? Like, at some point... Oh, and it's also a capitalist hellscape. That's like the point. I forget. At some point you just die, and that's fine. After seeing a show here, I would probably also want to die. That's okay. All sails fine. Let's see if there's anything else of note. You do have footlights, so you'll have proper illumination for egress. I question the placement of this fixture, because it is in the corner of the vision of basically this entire seating bank. If not... Can you see it over here? Yeah. But that could be solved with just a wattage change to make those indicators as opposed to actual area lights. Because once you get in this area, you do have area lighting. That's not the worst. This is kind of strange. These are super bright for... Yeah, why are those there? What? That's so weird. I question the appropriateness of all of these, like, rectilinear forms in the Art Deco movement. I don't... I'm also not, like, really familiar with the Art Deco movement, but this seems a little out of place. This looks like something from, like, I don't know, Super Paper Mario. Or perhaps, like, a Japanese garden. like this design. It's a good design. Although you do like the value contrast, you just kind of lose where they stop doing this inlay. I don't it kind of blends into the actual concrete of the background. The figure ground is not so good. But I like these ridges. This is really nice. This is really fun. It all points inward. Love that. And none of that matters because you can't really see it from down here anyway. Maybe that's why they put the catwalks up. They were so ashamed about, like, this thing. It's missing some kind of, like, center jewel or, like, a mask or something as well. It just kind of, like, points down in a it lacks, you know, you have these big Atlas figures. Why not have, like, an Atlas head right there? I don't know. Oh yeah, let's talk about the bathrooms. So, I don't know what time period this is supposed to be. Okay, I'm here, and I'm listening to Rachmaninoff. Oh no, I have to pee. How? What is it? What does it take? So wait. Can I walk? Okay. I'm like very briskly walking, and I'm making a lot of noise, and I'm missing the Rachmaninoff. If I have to pee, I come out here. I have to go all the way into the public way. And unpause the timer. So we have to come out here. And I do know where the bathrooms are down here. Oh wait, what? It's okay. And then you come over here. And you come in here, and you use the bathroom, wash the hands, start walking back. This person just like pissed so fast, and then they have to walk all the way back. This seems appropriately cruel. Oh wait. Wait, did I take a wrong turn? Oh, okay. Yeah, I took a wrong turn. Wait. Wait, what? Oh, this is just around the corner. Okay. So, you know, that could happen. Atrium. Okay. Maybe this is a shortcut instead of going out-ish. Yeah, the patron experience here at this point, if I'm missing this much of my Rachmaninoff, I would just go home. Like, unacceptable. I would not buy a ticket subscription to this place. We're still not back. And this is like a very healthy, like, East Coast homosexual pace of walk. This is crazy. If not like a light jog. Are we getting radio bleed too? Where's this from? Okay, let's just pretend that won't be an issue. But okay, then I'm back. There will be a timer on screen. I wonder how long that was. That feels like, I don't know, 3 minutes. Producibility. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. It's better than the weird little shopping mall thing. I think I gave that a 5. I think that should be a 4 and a 5, a 4.5 out there. This would be a 6.5. I think it's okay. I think you can get away with a lot here, assuming that you have a way to like span this in terms of what can you actually put on the stage here. You get a lot of space. Maybe a 7. Maybe a 7. Okay, this is like acceptable, I think. For our sanity, let's just assume that there's like, I don't know, a whole backstage hallway area that we can't see, we can't access. But this let's assume that this is like a properly equipped facility that you can like store things and people behind the curtain in hallways. There are bathrooms, there are changing areas back there, there are dressing rooms. I think it's relatively easy to produce things here. This is a performance space by and large. To talk about the spectator experience, this is like, for such a fancy venue, really, really like approaching like derelict strip club levels of refinement. This, by visual design, would maybe claim to be a classy establishment for the high arts, but ultimately, because of a lack of acoustical consideration, poor sight lines, poor audience flow, and material choice, the acoustics are going to be bad. I don't think that this would be for any kind of like classical or jazz of the age music appropriate at all. I think it would sound bad and it would feel bad to come here for the event. For a place where you can like go and drink and look at things, you know, like, oh, you know, but that's a significantly lower bar than like, oh, the theater. For spectatorability? Spectatorability. Oh, it's like abysmal. It tries and it fails, like 3 out of 10. The sightlines suck. The patron experience suck. It's not a closed box. The acoustics are gonna suck. What's the point? The boxes are just strange. You would have to fiddle with them every time you came here to enjoy them. The material choices generally don't make sense. I would come here once and never again. Let's see. Let's try and find some redeeming shots. Like if I wanted to sell, I could do like this. Come and get your box. Rent a box at the glorious Fleet Hall. I think lower. Yeah, like this. You can get the guy in there. Get the other pillar in there. The lighting's not so good on that one. Can we do... No. Tough sell. Tough sell. Really want to capture this proscenium, but it's just so difficult with, like I think if we had a performer there, like a model, that this would be an okay shot. If we avoid the one that's broken, like this is the best that you can get of like a center wide shot. There's no proscenium. The frame is destroyed. Why have a proscenium at all at that point? It really doesn't work. It's such a shame. If we could delete this catwalk, the aesthetics of this space would improve immensely. Producibility, like 7. Spectatorability, like a 2.5. Aesthetics, I think like a 5.5, like a C, maybe a C plus. This is the catwalk is just embarrassing. It totally tanks the place. The acoustics, like a 1. It's gonna sound like shit here. Overall, not a very good performance space. Fleet Hall, more like Foot Hall. More like Sheet Hall. More like Feet Hall. Because you're going to be hearing everybody's footsteps throughout the performance. Alright. Well, that's it for this video, and next time we'll be taking a look at the finale, the campaign. I don't remember the campaign. It's in Left 4 Dead 2. It's the Midnight Riders. Whatever that arena is. All right.